It is possible, Greg, that one of these games that we're looking at right now could be the greatest game ever invented.
Ooh. One of my hobbies is game design, and whenever I dream up a new game, it always seems wonderful. And then I get it to the playtest table, and it's not so wonderful. So my playtesters give me feedback, and I go back and I fix up some things, and I take it back the next week, and we try it again, and usually it needs more fixing. And this is just a big process, a loop over and over and over again of iteration. Well, it got me to thinking. I have a question. Could a computer play a game for me, one of my games, 1,000 times, so that when I woke up, it could give me answers with regard to how to make the game better? Mike Cook is an expert in artificial intelligence specifically related to game design. He might have the answer if anybody would. So I'm going to see him now. Okay, hey, Mike.
Hey.
All right. Okay, so I've got a question. As a board game designer, what I want is a computer program that can play the game 1,000 times or 10,000 or a million times for me and tell me exactly where the balance lies in various moves. Can we do this?
Well, we can certainly try. There are a lot of interesting AI out there that can play games either with lots of information or with no information. But if you're coming to me for answers, my AIs tend to have more of an opinion about the games. I work in an area called automated game design, and what we're interested here is using AI to take part in the game design process.
I was not expecting that. I was angling for an artificial playtester. What Mike's offering here is an artificial game designer. This is a whole different kettle of fish. Okay, so how would it do it?
So when you make a change to a game design, there's a lot of intuition in there. There's a lot of experience, and your guesses are probably quite good guesses. That's your special gift. My AI doesn't have that intuition. It doesn't have that experience. So its special gift is that it can play 100,000 games without getting fed up of the fact that they're terrible. So it sort of swaps one gift for another. And the way that we do this usually is that we give it a sort of language to speak in. And as it happens, I actually have a physical version of this language with us today. And if you want, we could sort of go through some of this process with us. So, yeah, absolutely.
Is that what we're looking at here?
Yeah. All right. So I actually use this to sort of debug my AI and think through its process. But we can use it to design a game today if you like.
Cool, let's do it. Game design. This is more my wheelhouse. We set up a simple game space, a grid 3x3. Then we chose counters, blue versus red, and placed them on the grid. Looks a bit like the Japanese game Go. Ta-da! We've got nothing so far. Well, we have a starting point, but we need to put some rules in it. With Mike's process, he has a set of predetermined rules, so I chose some at random. So we could say, okay, gold, push, blue.
Right. Now there is sort of a problem with this random rule that we've come up with, though.
I see it. I see it.
There are no gold pieces on the board.
So would a computer make that mistake? Is a computer as stupid as I am?
Greg, a computer is way more stupid than you.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if that makes you feel better.
You're very kind. Now, for us savvy humans, it's a pretty easy error to fix. Just swap out gold for blue.
And this is something the AI will try and do, but the key thing here is you knew exactly what would fix this, because you and I, our brains are kind of working, we're already imagining what needs to be done here. But an AI won't necessarily know, so it has to guess. Your advantage is you already know what fix to do. The AI's advantage is even if it makes a bad fix, it doesn't mind. It'll play this game as well and eventually find out. It just takes a little bit longer. And one of the quirks of my research is that when we think about AI, we often think about efficiency and speed. We want AI to be as powerful as possible, which means going as fast as possible. Mm-hmm. But I don't mind about that with my AI. My AI takes its time, and it doesn't matter if it takes a week or a month to make a game design, because, well, how long does it take you to make a game design, Greg?
The one that I just pitched, about 8 years.
Right. So
I've always got a few going, percolating at any given time. They're getting faster, but yeah, it takes a long time. It might sound odd, a bit counterintuitive, really, to give AI lots of time. But it turns out that's where the creative magic can happen.
And one of the great things about working with AI in game design is all of these kind of unconstrained features that you've talked about, unless they're programmed into the system, the AI will find ways to exploit them and work around them. For example, it's found bugs in my code, so errors in my game engines.
Okay.
And as a result, it's been able to invent new game ideas that used those bugs, which is very, very strange.
We call that in my community trying to break the game. There are some people who are very good at it, right? You give all the rules and they find some crazy little loophole that does work according to the rules.
Well, what's incredible about that situation is those people are very surprising to humans because they have all of the assumptions and intuitions that regular humans do. And so in order to find that break, you need to sort of think unusually.
Yeah, outside the box.
But for an AI, all of these options are equally likely. They all make as much sense as all of the others. Like to an AI, using those bugs in my code, they weren't bugs. It was just a consequence of the rules I'd given it, you know? And that's one of the reasons why AI often surprise us, because they have no preconceptions.
It's these different combinations of game rules that are the fertile ground Mike's AI explores. With that in mind, we need to finish creating our test game.
We've got some cards that say killed on. So for instance, anytime that you kill a piece by, well, we need a rule that says how you kill a piece, I guess. So we could say
push them off of the edge of the game space.
Yeah, we could define it that way. Exactly,
let's do that.
So let's say every time red is killed, you gain a point. So that could be our score rule.
Okay.
We specified that the pieces should move like rooks in chess, meaning that they could go in any direction, left, right, up, or down.
So now we've got something which is what I call game-shaped. We're getting closer to what we might call a game. As you say, it's got a board and pieces, things that we can look at. It's got some rules for the actions we can take. It's got rules that say what the consequences of those actions are, and it's got something for us to aim for.
My head was swimming with Mike's ideas. I wondered, could I think like the AI and break the game that we had just created?
Now, it's not going to rival Monopoly, but we'll let you go first.
Oh, okay. Moving like a rook, we have not specified that it stops at the edge of the board, so I'm going to move through here, push this off, wrap around, come back this way, and push it again. Giving me 2 points.
Shouldn't have agreed to be interviewed by a board game designer. Okay. Well, that puts me in an awkward position, doesn't it? I will just take what I can get then. I'll push this all the way off.
All right.
And take that for myself.
And then I will do the more obvious move, which is to push this.
Okay.
Well, at least we've cleared the board.
We've cleared the board. So something really interesting's happened here, and that's that you won. And actually, I didn't see this coming because you interpreted the rules in a way I wasn't expecting, which is really interesting. But the AI will see this as something interesting happened here. A lot of games just don't have anything interesting in their rules. And one of the indicators of that is that if you put 2 players to play the game, they end up with the same number of points.
Okay.
But there's some asymmetry here. So let's think about all the good things that happened. The board has changed. It looks very different.
Okay.
One player decisively won. Both players were able to score points. So it's not like it was unbalanced. I did manage to get 1 point.
Okay.
So there's a lot of interesting things here that the AI might see as an indicator of the beginnings of a good game.
So what I'm realizing now is that not only could I have a computer play my game with the rules that I gave it, but like this, I could have a computer also sort of randomly picking at those rules to see what works best and leads to what I define or you define as an interesting state of the game at the end. That would take some time. This took us some time. Do you have an example that you could show in kind of, of a computer doing this in real time?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have my AI system set up, and I have some visualization set up so I can kind of watch what it's doing. So this lit area in the middle is kind of the game board, just like our game board here.
At this point, I got some disco fever.
And right now, it's playing a game. I couldn't tell you what the rules are, but I can tell you that it currently has -6 points.
Wait, let's unpack that. It's randomly taken various elements of what can make rules and said, these are now the rules.
Exactly, yeah. So it's pulling these all out of thin air. And sometimes, as you'll see, sometimes a lot of bright colors will start flashing and things might be changing. And other times you might see a more kind of degenerate pattern. So you might just see a white screen, nothing happening at all. That's our example of where the rules don't allow anything to happen.
So it's probably a broken game.
Probably a broken game,
that.
exactly. And the reason is a lot of these ideas aren't good. So it's going to play them and it's going to see like nothing, a lot is happening, but
this
its
is like
score is zero.
months of my life where I go through a lot of really bad, I show up at the playtest session, I thought it was a great idea, we play it halfway through. No. So if something interesting does come out of it, can you then say, whoa, tell me the rules?
Yes, I can.
Or is this going to create the best game ever and then when you turn off the computer, it's gone?
It's funny you should say that. It is possible, Greg, that one of these games that we're looking at right now could be the greatest game ever invented, and it's going to flash past in 15 seconds. Neither you or I are going to know what it is, and I might not be able to explain to the AI to appreciate it. Like it's going to go into its memory, and it might just get lost there forever. We could be witnessing gaming history in front of us right now, but we won't know. And I have to hope that at some point in my research career over the next 15 years, I can teach it enough so that it can go back into its memory banks and remember what it thought of today while we were talking and pull it out and finish the design. And that's why I make sure that this AI system never forgets the work that it's done. Even a really bad game, even this game right here, which nothing is happening in, I make sure that it keeps a records of all of these. Because as you'll know, the failures are as important as the successes. It has to learn why this game was bad. So it actually keeps a big record of everything it's ever seen or done so that hopefully it can learn in the future to be better. And what I'm actually hoping is in the coming years, it might be possible for you to feed your game designs in here. So it can not only play its own designs, but it can learn what a Greg game looks like and sort of learn to be influenced by your designs or my designs.
And then it would suggest better rules for me.
Yes, but also it might be able to go back to its broken designs and say, I learned something from Greg that like Greg's style of design will help me fix this other problem. So it's not just that it'll give you suggestions, but it'll learn from you as well, hopefully, and you'll help its own process of becoming a game designer. Fingers crossed.
Great. Have it on my desk by Monday. Well, how about a nice game of chess?
Sure.
I came into this with the question of whether or not artificial intelligence could help me to iterate and play test my games. And the answer I found is that they can do much more than that. They can actually help me to design them from scratch. And it won't be long before game design teams are actually using AI to produce games as a member of the team. Until that time, however, I will still be riding my bike through the rain into the playtest sessions in the pub with a rucksack full of bad game ideas that still need to be sorted. Until next time, remember that between the question and the answer are all of the really tasty bits. Can I do it? What's Joshua's voice in War Games? How about a nice game of chess? Those are pawns. It is a nice set, isn't it? You can actually...